What's going on there, everyone? Well, this is kind of a fantastic story, and I think it highlights a lot of the reasons why people actually voted for Trump for his message in 2016 and what he continues to push forward. Let's just get into the story. Trump chides the UN. The future does not belong to globalists. No, it does not. Globalism is a cancer. President Donald Trump slammed globalism and defended national sovereignty during his Tuesday speech to the United Nations General Assembly, asserting that the future does not belong to globalists. Thank you. Those words are going to ring worldwide. You're going to see a lot of people supporting the words of Donald Trump. And I know the left's going to hate every minute of it because the left is constantly pushing the globalist agenda. That's why they're not doing so well. Around the world, that is. The president took to the stage Tuesday morning shortly after Brazilian President Bolsonaro and issued a defense of nationalism. Looking around, this is a quote, looking around and all over this large, magnificent planet, the truth is plain to see, Trump said. If you want freedom, take pride in your country. If you want democracy, hold on to your sovereignty. And if you want peace, love your nation. Wise leaders always put the good of their own people and their own country first. I tell you what, in a perfect world, that little speech right there would be plastered everywhere. Because just that little phrase was very powerful and very meaningful. But because of the era we live in, where most of the media seems to have Trump derangement syndrome and all this, and don't care about the will of the people at all, you're not going to hear probably anything about this. If you didn't actually watch the conference, then you probably won't hear much about anything because the media right now is so stuck on this Ukrainian nonsensical story, which by all accounts he wouldn't have done nothing wrong in the first place. It's ridiculous. I say release transcripts and screw the left. He asserted the future does not belong to globalists. The future belongs to patriots. Amen. I tell you what, this guy's actually, Trump's a good speaker. He's a very good speaker. As long as you're not having him being questioned by a bunch of media personalities that he knows does not like him, and he in turn does not like them back, you know, he's going to say some really good stuff. Excuse me. The future does not belong to globalists. The future belongs to patriots. The future belongs to sovereign and independent nations who protect their citizens, respect their neighbors, and honor the differences that make them, that make each country special and unique. It is why we in the United States have embarked on an exciting program of national renewal. In everything we do, we are focused on empowering the dream and aspirations of our citizens. How can anyone argue with that? How can anyone argue with these statements? The president cited pro-growth policies, confrontations over allegedly unfair trade, holding Iran accountable, promoting freedom in countries like Venezuela and Cuba, stopping illegal immigration, and protecting religious freedom as key tenets of his America First approach to governance. Trump painted nationalism as an ideology that protects vulnerable citizens from outside threats, contrasting it with open borders, globalism, that he cited as being cruel and evil. Today I have a message for those open border activists who cloak themselves in the rhetoric of social justice. Your policies are not just. Your policies are cruel and evil, he said. You are empowering criminal organizations that prey on innocent men, women, and children. You put your own false sense of virtue before the lives, well-being, and countless innocent people. When you undermine border security, you are undermining human rights and human dignity. Powerful. Because that's exactly right. We've been seeing something weird happen with the left over the past few years where they seem to do the exact opposite of what they claim they're for. You know, we've seen them to where in roundabout ways, they're propping up drug mules. They're propping up human traffickers, and we're not just seeing this on the American southern border. We're seeing it where Africa and Europe meet. You have these NGOs going around in their boats, human trafficking. That's exactly what they're doing. They're going and picking up people from Africa and trafficking them to Europe illegally. There's something about the left. There's something not quite right. And we see this with children, too. They always call to protect children. We need to protect children. We're doing this to protect children, this, that, and the other. But they're not. Look at how they're treating our own children. They sexualize them. They let them at too young of ages where the kids don't even know what reality is, really. They sit here and they're letting them pick their genders when they're 3, 4 years old. You know, when these kids don't know anything and it's the parents' job to teach them. And they're just not teaching them. They don't care. They don't care about anything they say they care about. They really don't. He also spoke at length about the trade war with China, claiming that the international trade agreements have resulted in unfair outcomes for American citizens that he's attempting to correct. That's true, too. Ever since the 90s when we started, I think it might have been Bill Clinton. I could be wrong about that, so you might want to fact check that. But I believe it was Bill Clinton who got China into the world economy thing, and completely screwed America. Completely screwed America. All of our businesses, all of our manufacturing, all went to China, where it was cheap slave labor. The president closed with a speech with a call for world leaders to similarly take care of their own countries and citizens, stating, "A better world for all humanity begins at home." I mean, like I said, if this was anybody else, this speech that he made would be plastered everywhere. They'd be making pamphlets. There'd be shirts. There'd be coffee mugs because, I mean, he said so many profound things that are noteworthy in this speech. With God's help, together we will cast off the enemies of liberty and overcome the oppressors of dignity. We will set new standards of living and reach new heights of human achievement. We will rediscover old truths, unravel old mysteries, and make thrilling new breakthroughs. And we will find more beauty, friendship, and more harmony among nations than ever before. My fellow leaders, the path to peace and progress and freedom and justice and a better world for all humanity begins at home. Now, bam. A lot of people like to go and say, even on the right, that this president, he's just not presidential. When you hear speeches like this and see the passion in the guy's eyes about America, that should change your mind a little bit. He is very presidential. The man's much wiser than anyone gives him credit for. He constantly causes media blunders to further show media bias and how ridiculous everyone has gotten over his presidency for no reason. No reason. You know, all these people said they were going to leave. They didn't leave, you know, when he became president. You had all these people say, oh, we're going to Canada, we're going here, there. They didn't leave. There's a reason. Because he's not that big and scary as everyone claimed he was. This man actually cares about America. He cares about Americans. Doesn't matter what race, religion, creed, none of that. He cares about Americans. Everyone else is second best. If you're not an American, you're second. That's what I want out of a leader. This speech is what I want out of a leader. And that's what we got. And look at what the left's propping up. They're pretty much anti-American and fully globalistic. They always have been. And we have our globalists. We have neocons and stuff, which are more on a globalist path. And I don't like them either. But I can say that thank God for President Trump. And people just listen to his words sometimes. Don't listen to his Twitter words because he goes on Twitter to be hyperbolic and get people talking. Listen to his speeches. His actual speeches. They're phenomenal. And I believe that's how he truly feels. Sure seems that way. But I'd love to hear your comments, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. I will catch you on the flip side.